tweets I wrote about is a subject called collapse. And there was a book, I wish I had, it's in my back room. Collapse was written by a gentleman named Jared Diamond. It was a very disturbing book. And it talks about, the Easter Island and where all these simple, the Maya, the Inca, how they all collapsed. But interestingly, Jared Diamond started with the collapse in Montana, just recently. And I thought that was a really interesting time. And he's a very good writer, very simple writer. But things collapse. So Easter Island is one of the most famous places, but people don't know why did Easter Island collapse. But there was this pattern running through every collapse. And it's not environmental, it's caused by humans. So what Jared Diamond writes about as a theme throughout the book is the reason a civilization like the Mayas or the Incas or all, and the Anasazi, which is they're not too far from where we are where I'm in Arizona right now, they collapsed. They were the biggest, in Arizona, you drive a little north, you can see these beautiful ruins, there was massive civilization there. Then one day they're gone. The same as Easter Island, they're there and then they're gone. Or the people in Montana, and these are not Indians, these are modern Montanans. Boom, they're gone. So when I tweeted in this last Twitter on collapse, I said, just be aware that I think we're heading for a collapse. It's more than a depression. There's probably a 5% chance that the dollar will collapse because it's so corrupt. So what Jared Diamond writes about, the reason something collapses is because people do something successfully and they keep doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like they drink some beer, they get high. So they drink more beer and they get higher. The next thing you know, they're alcoholics and the whole lives fall apart. So the thing about every collapse was the human beings they kept doing what they were successful, but it destroyed them. So the reason America's going to collapse, or the dollar may collapse, is we use debt to get rich since 1971, which is, so our economy boomed from the boomer generation. We could print as much money as we wanted because Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. That's what killed us. You see, what made us successful is going to collapse us. So that's what I was tweeting about. Now, Easter Island, according to Jared Diamond, is what made them successful, those big Morai, those big heads and all this stuff. The reason they collapsed is they got good at building those stupid heads. Not stupid, but they were heads, whatever they are. I don't know why. They didn't do any good. Not that I can think of. But pretty soon, everybody says, hey, I'm going to build a Morai bigger than you. There's no difference that I'm going to build a bigger golf course or a bigger office building or a bigger shopping center. So the Morai on Easter Island are like our shopping centers and all this. So what happened is we used debt because after 781, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, we printed money. We could build these huge castles to ourselves. So you had all the McMansions and all this stuff, because of debt. Well, what happened on Aku Aku, or Easter Island, which was discovered on Easter, was that the Morai, or I forget the name, I apologize, I don't know the name of the people, the Polynesians anyway, they kept building these Morai. And to build them, they had to cut down the forests. So they went out there and whacked down all the trees so they could roll these heads up. Kill their environment. They starved to death and they had to eat each other. So Collapse is a very interesting book. It's entertaining, it's well written, it's simple, it's crystal, it's well researched. But what we do that makes us successful, if we overdo it, can ultimately get us. So it's not just about the Morai or the the shopping centers in America or whatever thing is going on, is like, for me, the more successful I got, the cockier I got. Ego. And the more my ego got bigger, as you all know, if you go up, somebody wants to take you down. So it's okay to become successful, but don't get cocky and arrogant about it. And that's what I did. So I'm more aware of that now. But the point here is this: the reason I tweeted about the collapse of the US dollar and the book, and Easter Island, and the Morai and the heads, is I think America is going to go down, is because in 1971, fake money, fake teachers, and fake assets, we don't teach anything about money at school. We printed as much money as we want. Today, we don't know how big the national debt of America is. Do you know, let's say if the towns start collapsing, people start losing their jobs, the ripple effect is so large. Will the Federal Reserve Bank, US Treasury, and Wall Street have to bail us out? That's the question. So what made us successful may make us unsuccessful. And that's what my friend Records writes about here on The Road to Ruin. Again, he worked with the Defense Intelligence Agency, the CIA. He's run war games on money. He wrote the book Currency Wars. And he was with the hedge fund long-term capital management, which nearly brought down the world economy back in 1999. And collapses because America's on the road to ruin. So that's why I don't just say these things. It's my study for whatever reason. So final word is this: just because you're successful today doesn't mean you'll be successful tomorrow.